y'all, welcome to Ellis Mowers. We are going to look at this Husqvarna today. Super nice lawnmower, 46-inch cut, 20 horsepower. It's got the pedal operated hydrostatic with cruise control. I've got the discharge chute for it, just have to put it back on. Seat's in good condition overall. Steering wise, all that's in good condition from what I can tell. And it's a 2007 model, as indicated by the little sticker right there, made in 11 of 2007. This lawnmower looks like it's in good shape, like I mentioned. The blades are even in good shape on it. For the most part, I just need to sharpen them. All the belts look good. The deck looks good. This lawnmower just has one big problem, and it resides with, I'll give you a hint. And remember what year this was made. Look at what it has under the hood. One of them notoriously horrid Kohler Courage 20 horsepower engines. Here's the sticker for it. An SV600S is the model number for it. It's made in June of 2007. So, what I have been told about this mower, I got this mower plus a John Deere, I gotta look in the garage, John Deere 165, yep, 165 John Deere Hydro. Got them both for $150, which is a great deal, I would think, because this mower right here is a $700 to $800 mower all day long if I can get this thing running right. So I have already noticed that they had already taken quite a few things out of it. There is no oil whatsoever to be found in it. However, it does have compression. The reason why it has no oil in it is because it has leaked it all out. And it has leaked it pretty severely. It has the classic, let's see, the bolts on the top have not really come out of it, which is a good thing. And I don't really see a ton of oil leaks up top, which is good. Most of my oil leak is right here at the valve cover, and then also at one other spot, and it's a pretty big spot. Right there. You see that? I got myself a cracked block right here. And it goes all the way down under the mower, under the under the block right there. So that's exciting. I have watched Terrell Fixes All do one of these. And I am going to attempt to fix it. Probably not as good as Terrell, but I'm still going to attempt to fix it because I really think that I can get this thing running and running good. What I want to first try out, everything's complete on it otherwise. What I want to try out first is I just want to put some oil in it and turn it over to see if it'll run at all. I was told that it has a brand new carburetor on it, which looks relatively new. I think the air filter's in good shape and all that good stuff too. So I'm hoping that all I need to do is fix the cracked block on the motor. I don't see any other cracks in it at this point in time. I'm going to take off, obviously, the air filter and all that, just to make sure that I don't have any issues with it. And also just to see simply how many hours I've got on the motor. I don't have any idea how many hours are on this lawn tractor. I would guess probably in the 300 to 400 range, but I'll put a battery in it and we'll see. For anybody who doesn't know, Husqvarna and Craftsman are made by the same company. at least at this time, as of 2020, Husqvarna Outdoor Products has ceased operations of residential equipment, and all of the stuff that you see has been sent over to China from all the sources that I have seen. Which Husqvarna had stopped making Craftsman whenever Lowe's bought them out, and everything's just an MTD now, basically. So let me put the dipstick back in. We'll put some oil in this thing. I'm going to put a battery in it, and I'm just going to see if it's going to run. I'm not going to run it very long, obviously, because of the way that the cracked block is, but I do want to see it run, and then after I see it run, we're going to go ahead and take apart all this, take apart the top end here, and or on a bucket engine, would this be the bottom end? We're going to take off the top of the engine here and get some Loctite, get some JB Weld, and see if we can stop the oil leaks. We're going to do some RTV on the valve cover gasket as well, and see if we can get more life out of this Kohler Courage. I think we can. I could make dumb Kohler or Courage jokes and stuff like that, but I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to pull it right over here. I'm going to drain the oil out, or I'm not going to drain the oil out. I'm going to put some oil in it just to see if we can get it to turn over oil and battery. So let me go ahead and do that. Okay, y'all, so I've actually got a donor Kohler Courage here that actually blew the block out of the back. Came off of a Troy built, I think so. It was a Kohler Courage 20. It actually came off of that Troy built Bronco right there. So before I do a full-on engine swap of this thing, like I said, I suspect the compression release is bad, because this Courage is going to be all the parts that I need if I need it. As long as, well, I'll show you. The cam gear on it is good, as well as the compression release. So that's a lot of the battle right there. So I've gotten that aside. Either way, I've got to take this sump off right here. So I've already done one this morning. I'm like, might as well, because I got all the parts lying right around here. Figured I might as well try this while I'm letting the other one dry, because I know I at least need to put a drive belt on that one. So it's not like I can get that one done today, unlike this one where I could get it done, let JB Weld sit, and then have it done, ready to rock and roll tomorrow, potentially. We'll see. So let me pull my stuff over here, grab this little cover and take it off. Take the dipstick off. We're just going to lay these parts aside over here that I've already got. I've got a bucket. Hold on. Throw these parts in this bucket right here, because I've got the other Courage parts in the other bucket over there. So, alright, so I'll show you what's got to happen here. And thankfully these dummies didn't put the coil wire through this hole like they did on that the Troy built one. So that's good. So what I'm going to do next, let me grab the tools, I'll come right back. Alright, I think I got everything I need to take the sump off of this thing. So let's get started. There's no battery in it. It's good to not have a battery in it while you're doing this, because you got to take the starter off as well. The only good thing about these Kohler engines, the fact that they call them bucket engines, is that you don't have to take the whole engine off to get to the sump, because I've got to do that. Just pulling the plug wire off now. Grounding wire for the coil. The coil will have to come off. Let me take the starter off down here on the bottom, which that's the 7/16. Pardon if I get in the way a lot. But it's a 7/16 inch nut down here. That gets my starter wire off. I'll put the nut back on the starter. The starter would engage, so I'm presuming that it is good. Hopefully it's not weak. Like I said, either way I gotta take this thing off though, so. Let's see, 10 millimeter. We'll get the starter out of the way. Hold it from the bottom. There we go. Same starter, as you can see. And they feel the same too, so. All right, the coil is next. Or I could go ahead and take off the throttle linkage here, which I'm going to get a 1/4 inch. What I do is a 1/4 inch and I get the bit that I need. And that just falls out of the way. We'll do the same thing except for the coil here. It's one of these little 6-point things. That's it right there. We'll gap this back right later. Cool. Bunch of 10 millimeters. We gotta get the flywheel off first though. It's a 5/8, I think. No, it's a 14 mil, I'm sorry. It's a 15 millimeter, I'm sorry. There we go. So I've got another bolt. I've learned from practice that this is not the best way to go about it. Excuse me, I think I got a sneeze here. Listen, all right. Pull the plastic shroud off here, right? I've got another bolt. I guess the flywheel key looks good, from what I can tell. that I've got another bolt I've already beat on, so I'm going to put that one in here. We're going to whack this thing off. Yes. There's that washer. So this will mess up your head if you do it this way, but it's the I guess you'd call it the quick and dirty way to do it. I'm gonna put a little bit of lubricant down there to help it out. Under the washer, silly. There we go. All right. So pry bar, hammer that's got some heft on it. I've learned a regular old hammer usually doesn't do the trick. So we're going to pry up on it. Be very, very careful because you don't want to crack anything, especially around the flywheel teeth. So just don't pull it up too much. Just put a little pressure on it. It's something there. Nope. Like I said, this is not the most ideal way, but do some on this side. Again, I've got a parts engine, so I'm not terribly concerned with saving these. There we go. Just need to build my confidence up, I guess. Again, I've already rounded off this bolt. Maybe good to keep one around, that way you can do that. Pull the flywheel, friends. Alright. Flywheel key's good. And the flywheel is good, so looks like we got some star bits here. And my connector runs through the sump there. I don't think I'm going to have to take all of that off like I had to on the other one to get it off. So let me find my correct star bit. I guess of the newer Courages are going to have 8mm because this is one of the first Courage engines that came out. It's probably not smart for me to try and rebuild it, but again, I'm not going to have an hour in it. If I can save this engine, that means I get to put another good engine on another mower. So just remember that. Stator, I'm just going to kind of put aside. We're going to check the condition of everything. I got some 10mm I'm going to take this off with. Let's see. Since I can get into the sump easily on these, this is why I'm going ahead and doing that. Knock that flywheel key out. I'll give it a second. That was loose. That was pretty loose. So was that one. You can see where somebody tried to repair this at one point in time and put either a bigger nut on it or something. About a half, or I gotta go 9/16. That's a half. Yeah, the whole deal moved when I did that right there. Alright, good news is it's the same thread pattern, so I didn't break it too bad. Put that aside so I don't use it again. Now, get a rubber hammer or a mallet. Really quickly, I'm gonna get this key off. There it is. Maybe not. Key's in there pretty good, friends. There we go. All right. Rubber mallet, rubber mallet. Gently. Super careful with it. One more thing I'm going to do real quick, take off the 8mm over here that house, there's like a little module. I'm going to unplug the stator from the module. Hopefully it'll come out. There we go. Set the module aside. You'll need that again. But so we'll continue being gentle with this. Until it just comes out. Okay. So we're looking pretty good overall, which is good. Compression release is actually alright on this one. But let me pull it out just for kicks. It's cracked, that's for sure. The compression release is good. And everything in it looks decent. But let me show you this. I don't know if I'd feel comfortable putting this engine back on it. Let me tell you why. After I get my hands clean. So that's not the only area that's starting to crack. Actually, let me take this cam gear off because I'm not going to save it. I just wanted to spend the 15 minutes pulling it off just to make sure. So I'm not going to save it. I'm going to trash this one. And reason being, look, I've got a crack. I've got cracks going on right here. I've got a crack that's trying to form right there. I've got cracks trying to form all around this exhaust valve. So we're gonna call this one and write it off. I will save the sump gasket, and I'm gonna save a few items I'm gonna sort through here. But this engine will not be used in any other application because this, I mean, look at the block. Everything is just like cracking everywhere on it. If I only had this crack right here, I would think about it. But as you can see, it's already weakened around the entire exhaust port right there. And I ain't playing that game. So we're going to take this one off. I got that 17 horsepower. I just wanted to see for myself the inside of this thing before I decided to not fix it. And we're obviously not going to fix it. We're going to trash it. So, unfortunate, I know. Wish I could just save this. And truthfully, I probably could with a bunch of JB Weld, but I wouldn't feel comfortable selling it. So, I got a 17 horse Briggs to put on it. I've got a wiring harness that'll fit right on it as well. So, go ahead and do that. We'll catch up when we do that engine swap here in just a minute. Okay, everybody, so we're going to work on taking the engine off of this Troy-Bilt first. What I usually do, especially if it's just a mower carcass that I'm working on here, as just like this one is, you can see how rusted everything is under here. Transaxle's leaking. Got some rusted out pulleys, including the drive pulley. This mower is not salvageable, or for a reasonable amount of money, it's not salvageable. Anyways, my biggest challenge in this entire engine swap is going to be getting this pulley off right here. So let's go ahead and get started. I think this is a 5/8 that we need. If this is frozen on, then we're in trouble. Hopefully it's not. Looks like it's been lubed up a little bit with some oil over the years. Yep, cool. Now, what would make my day is if this pulley just comes straight off. Oh my gosh, I think I'm gonna have my day made. All right. Let's see. Let me put a park brake on or something here. See if I can even get down there and do that. Well, that helps. Hopefully. You know what? Y'all are right here. I don't know where you're at. I ain't using that belt. We're going to cut it off. How about that? Part of the joy in not saving a lawnmower is that you can just cut belts and such. There. Just made my life infinitely easier. I can't believe that thing came off. I've had some of these pulleys rusted on so hard that you actually have to cut them off. And to be quite honest with you, this was the reason why I was dreading working on this. Because I didn't think I'd be able to get that off that easily. That pulley's shot too, it's just good as trash. So, as you can see, really no oil leakage. It looks like somebody put some sort of anti-seize on this pulley, which, whoever did, thank you. So now, the next order of business is my 4 mounting bolts, which I'm not going to take off completely while I've got this thing sideways. However, I can go ahead and start them. They're 9/16. That way it's easier for me when I get to the point. Yeah. The other one's up in here, that's the problem. So I'm going to have to take this whole plate steering assembly off to get the blade bolts off. I hope not. Let's see if I can get a regular... I really don't want to have to use ratcheting wrenches to get this thing off. Let me figure out what I want to do with those bolts, because let me show you. So it's the steering plate with that holds everything on with the belt and everything that's in the way of it. I could just pop a... Hopefully I can pop a socket through there. That would be ideal. Even if I have to go down on a size. Let's see if a 9/16. Yeah, so a 9/16 with a 3/8 inch will fit right up in there. So I might go ahead and do that. Let me get the right adapter. I'm just going to go ahead and take that bolt off, and then probably move the steering around to take the bottom bolt off down there, which is hopefully accessible. So let me get my adapters and extensions, and I'll finish loosening these bolts. What I'm going to do is turn the mower back on its feet, and then I am going to finish loosening those bolts so I can just pull the motor out. Obviously I got to do some disconnecting up here as well. Probably not going to save the carburetor either, so I got a couple of things I need to do. Let me go ahead and get to it, and I'll catch you in just a second. Alright, so I got it jacked up. I had it on stands. Let's make everybody happy. And I'll show you why. I had to do what I did. Alright, we got it on stands. We're safe now. But you have to adjust the steering on these some. You got to turn one way and one direction and turn it the other direction. You have to turn it all the way to the right in order to get the bolt off that's right through here. So if you turn this all the way to the right and go through that port right there, and I'll give you a hint, I don't like not using non-impacts on impact, but this is one of those rare cases to where the impact socket will not fit. And so what I had to do is get a 1/2 inch to a 3/8 inch adapter, and then just a regular 9/16 inch socket. It'll fit up there perfectly if you do that. Now this side on the right here, I hope this is picking up okay. This is the hole that you've got to get in to get the bolt. I took a 1/2 inch nut and took out this steering, I guess you'd call it a tie rod, steering arm, whatever it is that connects to the actual steering mechanism. I took that out, and you can fit a 9/16 inch, again, same deal, 9/16 inch regular socket with that 1/2 inch adapter on it, and it works out well. Now what we're going to do is go ahead and finish the uninstall, I guess you could say, of this engine. So first order of business, I'm just going to take off some things like this solenoid. I got to get a 5/16 inch of my small impact for the socket there. We're going to just take the ground wire off of here. We'll just leave it be for right now. I got a bucket. I'm just going to throw some stuff in the bucket here. Learned yesterday kitty litter is a good way to get rid of oil on concrete, so I have to keep that in mind. Some of y'all are probably thinking, where have you been? You hid behind a rock? No, I'm a little slow. Alright, I'm going to get a utility knife. Of course I've misplaced the utility knife, so let's do a couple of other things while we're at it here, right? Alright, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to put a new coil wire on it, as it looks like the old one is married to the spark plug. So hopefully that spark plug will come out. Now, all I'm going to do now, I don't have a battery in this mower. I'm going to unplug the stator wire, unplug this would be the anti-backfire solenoid wire. Gray and white, that's the backfire solenoid. The one that has this little diode in it is the stator. We got a 7/16 inch wrench. We're going to take the starter wire off here. That's what I was looking for earlier. It's moving inside the starter. I'm going to grab some vice grips. Vice grips do a good job of clamping on in some instances when you can't reach, or where a wrench is too fat. If you don't have like a ground down wrench or something like that, vice grips are a wonderful, wonderful way to get things off. The little needle nose ones are great. So I didn't want to spin that nut around too much inside the starter because I didn't want to mess it up. Alright, so that is disconnected right now. Hopefully we can reconnect it. What else? Starter wire. And well, let's see. I think it's just a fuel line. Let me put you on the other side here. We're just going to cut this fuel line off because it's beyond repair. That's a good way to get your finger cut. There we go. That way we can take the whole carburetor and the whole shebang off. Make it a little bit nicer and neater as a complete unit. Let's see. Throttle cable I have already robbed off of this. Is there anything else? I don't think so, because I've already taken the pulley off. So let's let me tilt y'all up. Let's get this bad boy off. Right. So real quickly, let me show you the situation with the wiring that I have over here. Pardon the fan. So the Kohler wiring is a little bit different. What I like to do is change the wiring over from this connector forward. This connector forward is usually plug and play, I have learned, or at least it was on a Troy built that I had. Many years ago I did a Craftsman that was of this similar nature that had a Briggs engine on it, and oddly enough I put a Kohler engine on it. So I've got the Briggs harness. So all I'm going to do is take this harness off, which I probably need two hands for. I'm going to take that harness off. Anyways, I'll get into the removal of this in just a second. Put that Briggs harness on, and hopefully it'll be plug and play after that. We'll find out. Okay, y'all, so here's what I've done. Like I said, I had one from a Briggs. Pardon the fan, I've been working out in the sun all day and I need some air. This is the Briggs one that I put on. Let me show you. It's basically plug and play. Because if you look on the harness, look on the left, you see orange on the bottom, red on the top, right? On this side, you have a power wire going to your solenoid, your anti-backfire solenoid, and then you have a ground wire going to your anti-backfire solenoid. If you look, you have a black wire and a red wire going everywhere it needs to go, right? So the harnesses are the same up to the connector, and then that's where they vary between Kohler and Briggs. So obviously this engine is done with all that cracks and stuff in it. So I'm going to go ahead and start taking this off. What I'll probably do is I'll go ahead and take this off to finish part one, and then part two we'll put it back together and see if we can get it to run. I like that idea. pretty heavy hood for what it is. This is going to be, like I said, it's going to be a very nice mower when I finish up with it. I've got blades for it and everything. As I found some blades at Lowe's for like $21 for this thing, so it's kind of a no-brainer to put new blades on a mower that's going to be this nice. Make life easier on me. I might save that. I've already got one wiring harness that I can save on the stator. I have a feeling that these are not going to be engines that we're going to be doing a lot of repairs on over the years. So, and I haven't delved. I know the parts business is pretty big, but I haven't delved into the parts business much yet. I do this in addition to what I do full time. Maybe one day I can do this without. Maybe one day I can do this full time. It's just, you know, financially not smart for me right now. Let me grab the tools that I need really quickly. I'm going to take the exhaust off. We're going to take this spark plug out. I'm going to jack it up. I'll go ahead and get it on stands and stuff. Jack it up. We're going to take the pulley off and take this bad boy out. Should have it out here in a couple minutes. Okay, y'all, so let's go ahead and get started with this. What I like to do a lot of times is, let's see if I can sit y'all down and not go anywhere. There we go. What I like to do is sit y'all, or take the deck arm on these and just take the front part of it off and lower the deck down to make it more out of the way. So that's what I'm going to do first. Just got to take this pin out. Oh, I never have the right tools, do I? Well, let me get this pin out and I'll get right back to you. All you gotta do is take it out. It's usually just an E-clip. Somebody put a cotter pin in there. Let me get that out and I'll come right back. Alright, I got the deck down, the arm. Let me lower the deck real quick. So it's down and out of the way. Let's look up under the mower. So, maybe the light is good. If not, I'll get another flashlight. So I'll take that pulley off, the main drive pulley. Next, which is just a, it's like a 9/16 impact. It's a 5/8. I always mix up 9/16 and 5/8. They kind of look the same sometimes. All right. What I'm going to do versus the one I did on the Troy built is I'm going to leave that right there. Because I can just pull that pulley. The pulley will slide right off whenever I take the engine out. Let me grab a light. I'm going to show you the 4 mounting points on this Husqvarna. Got my light. Let's get under here. I'm going to do my best to show you, if I can, coming under the front of the mower. There's number 1. I can shine the light in the right direction. Number 1, number 2. Those are easy to get to. Number 3 and number 4 are in the back there. Number 3 is right there. Number 4 is right there. Let me see if I can show it to you. Oh, my eyesight. It's back there on the same side. You'll see it. The only interference I see besides these steering arms right here are these. Let me get out from under the mower so I can show you what you have to take off. Sorry for the shaky camera. There's just never a good way. This mount, or they're guides actually. They're 2 guides. And this guide right here, those hold on the drive belt. And looks like they might be in the way. What I'm going to do, I'm not going to film me getting these bolts off because you can't see it anyways. I'm going to take the bolts off. I'll let you know if I have to take these arms off to get to it. So let me go ahead and get started so that we can get this engine out. Okay, we're ready to take this thing off, I think. All I got to do is slide it over. Slide it out of that pulley that's under the mower, which should be easy. I think everything else is disconnected, so let's see what we got. Well, it couldn't really have been more easy, honestly. Okay. Next order of business. Might as well while we're here. All I did was finish taking the exhaust pipe off of it, which is sitting right here. So we'll see if this exhaust pipe will fit on the Briggs, which I'm not hopeful, but and it won't. It's the opposite direction, so we'll have to use a Craftsman muffler, it looks like. No biggie. Okay. Tell you what. Let's go ahead and put this Briggs on. What do you say? So now the challenging part is I've got to line up everything. A little bit of corrosion in the exhaust on this one. Hope that's not a big, it shouldn't be a big deal. These Briggs are tough, especially these old Intek. This is like a first gen Intek right here, so. Alright. So now I have to basically, again, something that you can't really show on camera, but put that pulley on, and I just have to line the guide up with the key, which can be tricky. It's not too bad though. Parking brake on. Parking brake releases the tension on the drive belt. The key's a little damaged, so let me work on it a little bit, get everything mounted, and I'll show you how everything looks. Alright, so what I ended up doing is I ended up taking off these guides for the deck belt. All I had to do was take them out. They're 9/16 bolt. Just take them out and slide them back. And now I'm just putting them back in. What I did is I mounted all 4 of these bolts and just put them in. But what I did also is turn the wheels all the way to the left, and that gives you better clearance to get access to all the bolts. So this is not too bad. I've seen much worse. I'd argue that the Troy belt that it came off of was a little bit worse. The only thing that made it easier is that I didn't have the deck on that Troy belt. So I'm just popping these back into place and do the same on the other side. I'm going to put the deck on it as well real quick. Let's see if that works better. I'm going to move you back so I have more room to do this. Excuse me. Maybe it goes in the back one. I thought it went in the front one, but I guess not. Might have to go back and look at the video footage. I think it does go on the back. Let me put it on properly and I'll get right back to you. Alrighty, I'll put the deck back down, or laid the mower back down on the ground. It was so much easier. Just fit right back in there. I am not a total dummy. I just play one on TV. I don't know. What we're going to do in part 2, we're going to end part 1 right here. I've already connected the stator wire. I've got to take off the old wires for the anti-backfiring for the coil, because I actually have the whole assemblage is on this connector. So we'll do this in part 2. We'll also put some tire tubes in it and do a couple other odds and ends. Put a new coil on, or put another coil on it that I have here. Replace some fuel line and figure out the whole muffler situation. We'll get there, but we're getting close. Part 2 coming up. We got a motor install, and I'll catch you on the next video. But right now, you can catch me at Ellis Mowers 09 on Instagram and Facebook. And I'll see y'all on YouTube next time for part 2 of this Husqvarna.